The cops are standing on your porch, two of them. One is tall with a clipboard, the other shorter, hands on his belt, like he's already suspicious of your lawn. You open the door with cereal still in your hand. The tall one does the talking. A young woman, 23, disappeared Tuesday evening. Last seen jogging 2 streets over. He shows you a photo. Dark hair, blue earrings, smiling like someone caught her off guard, and she didn't mind. Seen anything unusual the last few days? You say no. You say it fast. Well, too fast maybe, but you say it because it's true. You haven't seen anything. You don't know anything. They thank you, hand you a card with a tip line number, and walk back to their cruiser. You watch them drive to the next house. You close the door. You finish your cereal, and that should be the end of it, but it's not. Because exactly 1 hour later, you lace up your running shoes and head out for your evening jog. Down Maple, left on Birch, loop through the cul-de-sac, and back. You've done it 1,000 times. You know every cracked sidewalk, every leaning mailbox, every dog that barks when you pass. And that's why you notice it, right there, beside your neighbor's doghouse, the one with the old German shepherd that barely moves anymore. There's a patch of earth that doesn't match. The rest of the yard is dry, compacted, August hard clay. But this patch is dark, loose, freshly turned, like someone dug 3 feet down and filled it back in a hurry. You slow your pace. You stare at it for maybe 4 seconds. The German shepherd lifts its head and looks at you, then looks at the dirt, then puts its head back down like it's already made peace with whatever is underneath. You keep running. You tell yourself it's nothing. A dead pet maybe, a broken pipe, something ordinary, something explainable. You go home, you shower, you eat dinner with your mom while she watches the news. The missing girl's face is on the screen. Blonde hair, blue eyes, a college photo where she's smiling in a way that makes you feel like she trusted the world completely. Her name is Sarah. You look at your plate and push the food around and tell yourself it's nothing. But you can't stop seeing the dirt. You go to school the next morning and everyone is talking about it. Sarah Keene, 23, nursing student, disappeared on her evening run, which means she disappeared doing exactly what you do every single night. The girls in your class are scared. The boys pretend they're not. Teachers mention it cautiously, reminding everyone to be safe, to travel in pairs, to tell someone where you're going. There are flyers already. Sarah's face stapled to telephone poles, taped inside store windows, shared 10,000 times online. And in every conversation, in every whispered theory and wild speculation, your mind keeps returning to that patch of dark earth beside your neighbor's doghouse. You think about Mr. Hargrove. That's his name. Dale Hargrove, mid-50s, quiet, lives alone since his wife left 4 years ago. He works at the water treatment plant on the edge of town, drives a gray truck that he washes every Sunday morning, waves at you sometimes but never starts a conversation. Your mom once said he seemed lonely. Your dad, before he moved out, once said the guy gave him the creeps for no particular reason. You dismissed it then. You're not dismissing it now. The week crawls by like something wounded. Monday, you sit in algebra and draw rectangles in the margin of your notebook that look like shallow graves. Tuesday, you walk past his house on the opposite sidewalk and notice the curtains are closed, all of them, in every window, even the ones that are always open. Wednesday, you hear the German shepherd bark at 3 in the morning, a sharp panicked sound that stops suddenly, like someone silenced it. Thursday, you look up soil decomposition on your phone and then delete your search history because it scares you that you searched it at all. Friday, you sit in your room and stare at the wall and make a decision that will define the rest of your life. Even though you don't know it yet, you're going to go look. You wait until Saturday night, 1 in the morning. Your mom is asleep. The street is dead. You put on dark clothes, grab a small flashlight, and slip out the back door. The air is warm and thick, the kind of August heat that makes everything smell like wet concrete and cut grass. You cross your yard, hop the low fence into the alley, and approach Hargrove's property from the back. The German shepherd is inside tonight. No lights on in the house. You crouch beside the doghouse and aim your flashlight at the ground. The dirt is still loose, softer than it should be after a week. And now you notice something you missed before. There's a smell, faint but wrong, sweet and chemical at the same time, like someone poured bleach over something that was already rotting underneath. Your hands are shaking, but you start to dig. You use your fingers at first, then a flat rock you find near the fence post. 6 inches down, the soil changes color. Darker, wetter. You dig more. A foot down, you hit something that isn't soil. It's plastic, thick industrial plastic, the kind they sell in rolls at hardware stores. You peel back the edge, and the smell hits you full force, sour and heavy, the kind of smell that sits in the back of your throat and stays there for days. You point the flashlight down and see skin, pale, mottled with purple, a forearm, severed cleanly at the elbow, wrapped in plastic but not carefully enough. You drop the flashlight. You fall backward onto the grass. Your hands are covered in dirt that now feels like something else entirely. You want to scream, but your body won't let you. Every muscle is locked. You stare at the partially uncovered remains, and your brain tries to reject what your eyes are confirming. This is real. This is underneath your neighbor's doghouse. This has been here the entire week while you went to school and ate dinner and watched TV and pretended the dirt was nothing. You scramble to cover it back up. You don't even think about why. Your hands just move, pushing the soil back, patting it flat, smoothing it over like you're tucking something terrible into bed. You wipe your hands on your jeans. You grab the flashlight as you stand, and then you look up at the house. Second floor, far right window. A curtain pulled back just 2 inches, and behind it, barely visible, the silhouette of a face watching you. Dale Hargrove is standing in his dark bedroom, staring directly at you. You don't know how long he's been there. You don't know how much he saw, but he saw enough because the curtain drops back into place with a slowness that feels deliberate, like a message, like he wanted you to know that he knows. You run, not a jog, a full sprint back through the alley, over the fence, through your back door. You lock it. You stand in your kitchen breathing so hard your vision blurs. Your hands are shaking, caked with soil that smells like death. You wash them 7 times. You change your clothes. You sit on your bedroom floor with your back against the door and stare at the ceiling until the sun comes up. You don't sleep. You can't close your eyes without seeing that arm, that skin, that purple mottling that means the blood stopped moving days ago. Sunday morning, the doorbell rings. You freeze. Your mom answers it. You hear voices downstairs. That same tall cop from before. Your stomach drops through the floor. You walk downstairs slowly. He's in the living room, notepad out, asking your mom routine follow-up questions. Then he looks at you. Morning. Just checking back in with the neighborhood. You still haven't seen anything unusual, right? He says it casually, easily, like he's reading from a list and you're just another box to check. But then his eyes drop to your shirt, the one you threw on this morning. The same jeans from last night that you forgot to change. The ones with the faint brown smudge along the left knee. The ones with dirt still embedded in the denim at the cuffs. The dirt that came from a hole that contained a severed human arm, wrapped in plastic. Looks like you've been doing some yard work. He says it with a half smile. Friendly, conversational. Your mom laughs. He's always out there digging around. Tried to start a garden last summer. Didn't go so well. The cop looks at you. You nod. You try to smile. Your mouth doesn't work right. He writes something on his notepad and you can't see what it is, but the scratch of the pen sounds like a verdict. And then he asks you a question that changes everything. Your neighbor, Mr. Hargrove. You know him well, and here is the moment. Here is the fracture line in your life, the hairline crack that will split into a canyon. You could tell the truth right now. You could say, I found something buried in his yard last night. You could say, there's a body. You could say everything and let the machinery of justice take over and be done with it. But your brain does what brains do when they're terrified. It calculates. If you tell the truth, you have to explain why you were digging in someone's yard at 1 in the morning. You have to explain the dirt on your clothes. You have to explain why you didn't call 911 immediately. You have to explain why you covered it back up, why you ran, why you waited, and suddenly the truth doesn't sound like the truth anymore. It sounds like an excuse. It sounds like the story someone tells when they need to redirect suspicion. Not really, you say. He keeps to himself. Seems like a normal guy. The cop nods, writes something else. Thanks your mom for the coffee she offered. Leaves. And just like that, you become complicit. You lied about your knowledge. And in the language of law, that is almost the same thing. Monday comes, and you sit in class and hear nothing. The teacher's mouth moves. Words happen. You register none of them. Your phone buzzes in your pocket. Unknown number. You check it during lunch. A text from a number you don't recognize. Smart kid. 2 words. No context. But you know exactly who sent it and exactly what it means. Dale Hargrove knows you found what he buried. Dale Hargrove watched you cover it up. And Dale Hargrove just told you that your silence has been noted and appreciated. You stare at the message for so long, your screen dims. You should screenshot it. You should take it to the police. You should do everything that a rational, innocent person would do. Instead, you delete it, and in deleting it, you cross another line. First, you covered evidence, then you lied to police. Now you destroyed a communication from the person responsible. Each step is small. Each step is justifiable in isolation. I was scared. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. But stacked together, they form a staircase that only goes down. Tuesday night, you're taking out the trash, and Hargrove is in his driveway, washing his truck like always. He looks at you, not threatening, not angry. He nods. The same nod he's given you 100 times before. But now the nod carries weight. It says we share something. It says you and I exist in a space that no one else occupies. You nod back. You don't know why. Your body just mirrors him, the way it mirrors everyone, the way humans are wired to reciprocate. And in that small involuntary gesture, you feel something tighten around your throat that you know will never loosen. Wednesday, the police find something. Not the body, not the arm, something else. A piece of Sarah Keene's clothing in a dumpster 3 miles away. The news explodes. Volunteers organize search parties. The whole town turns into a machine of grief and determination, and you walk through it like a ghost, smiling when people talk about Hope, nodding when they say she might still be alive, knowing that she isn't, knowing exactly where at least part of her is, knowing and saying nothing. Thursday, a new text arrives. Same unknown number. They're going to search yards on our street this weekend. My dog is old and needs somewhere to stay for a few days. You understand? You read it 4 times. He's not asking you to watch his dog. He's asking you to help him move evidence. He's asking you to open a door that, once opened, will never close. You type no and stare at it, and then delete the letters one at a time. You type I can't and delete that too. You put the phone down, you pick it up, you put it down again. An hour passes, 2, 3. At midnight, you type a single word and hit send. When? And there it is. The moment you became something else. Not a murderer, not a criminal in any dramatic sense. Just a person who chose silence over truth, comfort over courage, and in doing so became the thing that makes all of it possible. Because men like Hargrove don't survive alone. They survive because ordinary people like you decide that their own safety matters more than someone else's justice. Friday night, Hargrove backs his truck up to the doghouse. You stand at your window and watch. He works quickly and quietly, a man who has done this before, and the ease with which he moves the wrapped bundle from the ground to the truck bed tells you that Sarah Keene is not the first. She's just the first you found. He catches your eye through the darkness, tips his chin, drives away. The German Shepherd watches the truck leave and whimpers once, then goes silent. You stand at the window for an hour after the truck disappears, memorizing the quiet of the street. The way the streetlight makes the empty hole in the yard look like a shadow instead of an absence. In the morning, it will be filled with fresh soil and a bag of fertilizer, and it will look like nothing. It will look like a man tending his garden in late summer. Saturday, the search party comes through your street. Volunteers with orange vests and flashlights walking in a line through backyards. They check Hargrove's yard, fresh soil by the doghouse. One volunteer pauses, looks at it. Hargrove comes out with a cup of coffee and says he just put down some topsoil because the dog kept tracking mud into the house. The volunteer nods, moves on, and you watch from your porch, sitting in a plastic chair with your heart beating so hard you can feel it in your teeth, watching justice walk within 3 feet of the truth and keep going because a quiet man with a coffee cup told a reasonable lie. Weeks pass. The investigation stalls. Sarah Keene becomes a cold case in progress. Her family does interviews. Her mother cries on television and begs for information. You watch every single one. You memorize her mother's face the way you memorized the streetlight, and every night you'll find yourself rehearsing how to tell the truth without sounding complicit. You can't go to the police because your involvement would become the story. You can't tell your mom because the truth would destroy her. You can't tell anyone because the moment you speak, you stop being a witness and become a suspect. A kid who was seen near the yard. A kid with dirt on his clothes. A kid who lied to an officer twice. A kid who deleted messages and helped a man move something in the dead of night. The truth won't set you free. The truth will bury you in the same hole where Sarah was. So what are you supposed to do to get rid of that sick feeling stuck in your throat? You go to school. You finish your homework. You eat dinner with your mom. You run your evening route, but never past his house that used to be just another block and is now the center of a darkness you can't unfeel. You keep turning it over in your mind day after day, and you decide you're going to send an anonymous letter with clues. But then you hear that same metallic sound again one night, and then your heart stops. A shovel hitting earth, rhythmic and steady. You go to your window and look down into Hargrove's backyard. He's digging. Same spot. New hole. The German Shepherd is lying on the porch, watching him with those tired old eyes. And beside Hargrove's truck, barely visible in the darkness, there's a shape wrapped in that same thick industrial plastic. He looks up at your window. He doesn't wave. He doesn't nod. He just looks. And you understand with absolute clarity that this will happen again and again and again. And that each time it happens, your silence will be a little easier, and you'll look in the mirror and see someone who watches a man bury bodies the way most people watch a neighbor mow his lawn. You close the curtain. You sit on your bed. You pick up your calculus textbook and find your place and start solving for X. The shovel sounds continue through your wall, steady and rhythmic, and after a while they become almost soothing, like rain on a roof. Like something natural, like something that was always there and always will be. And the worst part, the part that keeps you awake at 4 in the morning, staring at a ceiling that looks like every ceiling you'll ever stare at for the rest of your life, is that you still remember the exact moment you could have said something. You remember the cop in your living room. You remember the dirt on your jeans. You remember the question hanging in the air like a door held open for you to walk through. And you remember choosing to keep your mouth shut, not because you're evil, but because in that single terrified second, being safe felt more important than being good. And now you live in the house that Choice built, and you can hear the shovel. And you already know what tomorrow looks like because it looks exactly like today. The only question is whether there's still a version of you in there somewhere that would open that curtain and finally make a different choice. Or whether that version died the night you pushed the dirt back into the hole and smoothed it flat with your bare hands and told yourself it was nothing.